The loneliness of old age, a prison we build for ourselves. Have you ever thought about what your day will be like when you turn 70, 80, or even 90 years old? When your home becomes the quietest place on earth? When the only sound in the morning isn't someone's voice, but the ticking of the clock on the wall? When days start blending into a gray infinity because no one called, no one texted, no one came to visit? You look out the window and see a world that keeps moving. People are rushing about, spending time with friends, talking, laughing. But you are no longer part of that world. You have become invisible to it. This isn't a horror story. This is the reality for millions of elderly people. 1 in 5 people over 65 has no close friend or family member they can call in a time of need. Not a single one. Imagine what it's like to know that if something happens to you tomorrow, no one will even notice. You might think, that won't happen to me. I have a family. I have friends. But so did those who now live in silence, where the only conversation is with the TV. How does this happen? Loneliness is not an accident. It's not a sudden twist of fate. It's a process that begins long before old age. It's a chain of decisions we make over the years, often without realizing that each choice shapes our future. Look at these phrases. Do they sound familiar? I'm too busy with work, no time for friends. Family comes first, I don't need to focus on outsiders. I don't like social media. Why would I need the internet? I can handle things myself. I don't want to rely on others. Each of these decisions is a brick in the wall of loneliness. You put off friendships, thinking there's always time. You didn't keep in touch, believing loved ones would always be there. You never learned to use technology, assuming you wouldn't need it. Then, suddenly, old age arrives, and you realize there's no one to call, no one to text, no one to simply share how your day went. And now, the scariest part. Loneliness isn't just boredom. It kills. People who live in isolation die sooner. They have twice the risk of heart disease, strokes, and dementia. They are more likely to suffer from depression. Without social interaction, the brain literally fades, losing its ability to experience life fully. Their immune system weakens. The body perceives loneliness as chronic stress and starts deteriorating from within. Can you escape it? Yes, but only if you take action now. You can't afford to wait. Every year of delay makes the wall of loneliness higher, but if you're ready to break it down, you still have a chance. First steps to salvation. Reconnect with old friends. When was the last time you called your friends? Former colleagues, distant relatives? If you can't remember, now is the time to change that. People don't just disappear, you lose them due to your own inaction. Stop avoiding new connections. Thinking, making friends after 50 is pointless, is a huge mistake. Social interaction is everywhere. Neighbors, coworkers, gym buddies, hobby groups, even the cashier at the store. You just have to take the first step. Embrace technology. You might not like social media, but let's be honest. Without it, you're isolating yourself from the world. Messaging apps, video calls, online communities, they're not just time wasters. They are tools that can give you dozens of new connections. Each of these steps is a chance to avoid loneliness, but only if you take action right now. The only question is, will you do something about it, or will you let loneliness win? Why your children won't save you, and how to avoid becoming a burden. You might think, loneliness isn't a threat to me. I have kids, I have family. They will always be there for me. But this is one of the most dangerous illusions that ruins the lives of millions of elderly people. It leads to disappointment, pain, feelings of uselessness, and, ultimately, complete loneliness. Do you really believe your children will save you from loneliness? Look at your life now. How often do you see your parents? How often do you find time to call them? How many times a year can you afford to spend several days or even weeks taking care of them? Now imagine your children. Their lives will be the same. Work, family, mortgages, daily struggles, raising their own kids. Do you really think they'll have time to spend days and nights with you? It may hurt them to see you alone, but reality is harsh. They will promise to visit this weekend, but something urgent will come up. They will say, "I'll stop by as soon as I finish some things," but time will slip away. They will want to call, but they'll forget, because they're exhausted, because work was stressful, because they just didn't have the energy after a long day. And you, sitting by the phone, will wait. But the call won't come. How does loneliness begin, even when you have family? People don't realize when they start becoming a burden to their children. It's not their fault. It's just a natural process. It starts with small things. Can you drive me to the doctor? Can you fix my TV? Can you pick up my groceries? Over time, the requests grow. I'm lonely, come visit. Stay with me, I feel sad. Then you want more and more of their attention. Why don't you visit often? You've forgotten about me. You never call. Your children feel pressure. They feel guilty. They love you, but being around you becomes difficult because every visit turns into complaints and guilt-tripping. They start calling less, visiting less. Not because they don't love you, but because being around you has become emotionally exhausting. Now ask yourself, is this the life you want? Do you want your children to dread visiting you? For their visits to feel like an obligation they want to escape? If not, you need to change things, urgently. How to avoid becoming a burden to your children. Be as independent as possible. Your health is your greatest asset. Stay physically active. Losing strength means losing independence. Learn new skills. Don't force your children to do things for you that you could master yourself. Solve your own problems. Use online services, banking apps, delivery services. The less you rely on your children, the more they will respect you. Give more than you take. Think of your favorite relative. Why did you love spending time with them? Most likely, they were easygoing, interesting, and supportive, not constantly complaining. If you want your children to enjoy being with you, keep growing. Be someone they can have engaging conversations with. Stay positive. People avoid those who always complain. Don't demand attention. Your children should want to visit, not feel obligated. Maintain a social circle outside your family. If you rely only on your children, you limit your own options. Family shouldn't be your only source of social interaction. Make friends with peers, neighbors, and people with similar interests. Join clubs, engage online, find like-minded individuals. What happens if you don't change? Loneliness will consume you. Your children will start avoiding visits. Your grandchildren won't want to see you because they find it boring. Your phone will stay silent for weeks. Not because they don't love you, but because being around you has become too difficult. But if you start changing your life now, you will keep their love, respect, and joy of communication. Your choice. Be the parent your children love visiting, or the one they see only out of obligation. How illness turns people into prisoners of their own homes, and how to prevent it. Right now, you might feel healthy, confident, and strong. Maybe you go to the store, take walks, or even work out. But imagine this. One day, you wake up, and your body no longer obeys you. Your legs no longer support you the way they used to. A simple walk to the bathroom becomes a challenge. You can no longer go outside because you're afraid of falling. In an instant, your world shrinks to the size of your apartment. The windows replace the streets, the television replaces real conversations, and the phone, ringing less and less, becomes your last connection to the outside world. This is not a fantasy. It's the reality of millions of elderly people. How does illness turn people into prisoners of their own homes? You might be surprised, but 80% of elderly people experience mobility issues. That means that if you don't start taking care of your body now, there's a high chance that your future will look like this. You can no longer go for walks. Every step is a struggle. You lose the ability to shop, visit friends. Any trip becomes too exhausting. You become dependent on others. You need help to eat, get dressed, and take care of yourself. And the scariest part? This process is gradual and unnoticeable. It starts with slight weakness. You simply go outside less often. Then you feel too lazy to walk. Staying home is easier. Then pain appears, mild at first, but noticeable. Then suddenly, every movement feels like a challenge. And before you know it, a week, a month, a year has passed, and you hardly leave the house anymore. You won't even notice how you become a prisoner of your own body. Why do people become helpless? There are three main reasons why elderly people lose their ability to move. Lack of physical activity. As we age, our muscles weaken. But this isn't inevitable. It's the result of inactivity. If you don't move enough, your muscles literally atrophy. Your joints lose flexibility, making movements stiff and painful. You tire more easily, even after walking just 200 meters. At some point, your body simply stops obeying you. Poor nutrition. People don't realize how their bodies weaken due to a lack of essential nutrients. Calcium deficiency makes bones fragile. You could fall and never get up again. Protein deficiency destroys muscles. Every movement becomes harder. Vitamin deficiencies weaken the immune system. Even a simple cold can leave you bedridden for weeks. Ignoring medical checkups. How often do you see a doctor? Once a year? Every 5 years? Never? People don't go to doctors until it's too late. Hypertension. You don't feel it until you have a stroke. Osteoporosis. You don't notice it until you fall and break a hip. Diabetes. It develops over years, but when it hits, it can destroy your whole body. You can prevent this. Move every day. You don't need marathons or gyms. Just 20 minutes of movement a day is enough. Take walks. Even short ones will keep you mobile for years. Do light exercises. Simple movements help maintain muscle and joint health. If walking is difficult, move at home. Any activity is better than none. Watch your diet. Your body is built from what you feed it. Eat more protein. It keeps your muscles strong. Get enough calcium. Your bones need it to stay strong. Take vitamins. They boost your immune system and keep you energized. Get regular checkups. Your body is a complex machine. If you don't check on it, it will eventually break down. Monitor your blood pressure. Keep your heart in check. Watch your blood sugar. Diabetes sneaks up unnoticed. Take care of your joints. Many diseases can be slowed down if caught early. The choice is yours. You can keep telling yourself, "This won't happen to me." But so did those who are now bedridden. Those who sit alone in an empty apartment, unable to even walk to the door. Those who regret not taking care of themselves sooner. You have a chance to prevent this, but only if you start taking action today. How to build a life where loneliness isn't a threat. If you've read this far, you already understand how serious the problem of loneliness is. You see how it creeps in unnoticed, turning life into emptiness and your home into a cage. And maybe, deep inside, you feel fear. But fear is good, because fear is what pushes you to act. But here's the real question. Do you want to just be afraid? Or do you want to change your life before it's too late? Old age isn't just about weakness, illness, and loneliness. It can be vibrant, fulfilling, and full of people and opportunities. But to achieve that, you must take action now. 5 golden rules to protect yourself from loneliness. 1. Build and maintain social connections. Loneliness begins the moment you stop talking to people. How many friends do you have right now? When was the last time you reached out to someone first? How often do you invite people over? If your social circle is shrinking, you're already on the path to loneliness. What to do? Call old friends, even if you haven't talked in years. Make new connections. Join clubs, hobby groups, attend events. Use the internet. It's not just for young people. It's a tool that expands your social world. 2. Don't rely solely on family. If your entire social life revolves around your children and grandchildren, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. They can't always be around. They have their own lives, responsibilities, and problems. If you rely only on them, you'll eventually feel abandoned. What to do? Expand your social circle. Make friends with neighbors, peers, like-minded people. Be someone people enjoy being around. Avoid constant complaints. Take charge of your own entertainment. Don't expect others to amuse you. 3. Take care of your health. Nothing else matters if your body fails you. If you can't leave the house, you lose people. If movement is difficult, every visit becomes exhausting. If you're constantly sick, your life revolves around hospitals instead of friends. What to do? Stay active. Walk, exercise, keep your body strong. Eat well. Your body needs nutrients to stay functional. Don't ignore doctors. Regular checkups can prevent serious problems. 4. Be proactive. Don't wait for others to improve your life. Loneliness starts with passivity. If you're waiting for someone to call, invite you out, or check in on you, you've already lost. What to do? Take the initiative. Reach out to people. Plan outings. Make the first move. Fill your time. New hobbies, trips, and activities are up to you. Don't be afraid to go out, meet people, explore, try new things. Your life is what you make it. If you do nothing, you have no life. 5. Don't be afraid of change. The biggest mistake elderly people make is rejecting new things. Social media isn't for me. New technology is too hard. Making friends after 60? Who would want to talk to me? These aren't just words. They're a death sentence for your social life. What to do? Learn modern technology. Video calls, messaging apps, and social networks help you stay connected. Try new hobbies, painting, sports, music, volunteering. The world is full of possibilities. Keep learning. New skills bring new people and conversations. Your actions today define your future. You have 2 options. Do nothing and risk being alone. Start taking action and build a life where loneliness isn't a threat. The only question is, what will you choose?